before we get to Saturday and the Derby, we'll take a moment to kind of look back. Obviously, the Derby has been, running long before both of us were going. But in terms of our favorite Derbies, just kind of taking a moment to talk about that. Raider Jim, what are your thoughts? Some of the Derbies of the past that have always kind of stuck with you.
Oh, it's one of those things every year. I can't help but forget that great race that Mind That Bird put together in Calvin Burrell, Rail Burrell. And what a race that guy did. And then I also remember when Big Brown won it. And that was kind of clever. Big Brown was actually owned and operated basically by UPS, and that's why they named that horse Big Brown. So that was kind of interesting. And that, I mean, there's just so many.
Yeah, it's obviously, the Run for the Roses. Big Brown was one, and unfortunately, when I think of Big Brown, all I can think about is when that horse, I don't know if it was in the Preakness or the Belmont where it kind of jumped the gate early, and I think it hurt his leg, and I think it had to get scratched. I don't think it was anything, like, euthanasia or anything like that, but I'm almost positive. I could be getting that wrong, but I think it broke through the gate and unfortunately had to be a scratch, and it was just the most anticlimactic, just one of the more unfortunate things that I think I'd seen in horse racing. But that was one that I had jotted down. But the one that really stuck out to me, look, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, but I kind of like chaos. I as long as, I'm not involved, especially in the sports world, obviously not in your personal life or in the real world, not at all. But, it's always kind of fun to see some kind of craziness. And of course, if you're talking about chaos and you're talking about drama, you have to be talking about the 2019 Kentucky Derby. And obviously it was the Derby with Maximum Security getting disqualified, and then Country House at, I think, 65-1 at the time. It was the second biggest long shot ever. The epitome of hold all tickets situation in that spot. But I think what also continued, obviously Maximum Security ended up being kind of in the middle of an even bigger investigation going forward. But for me, the 2019 Derby was one that I'll never forget, especially as a bartender, trying to watch the race and then, trying to figure out, well, who won, and people saying, well, we don't know yet. And then it being announced and just utter confusion by everyone involved. Obviously, agree or disagree on the disqualification, doesn't really matter. But for me, I will always be reminded of the 2019 Kentucky Derby. Whenever there's a bit of a bleep show at work or a cluster, at work, I just kind of call it the 2019 Kentucky Derby situation for me. So, but that's what always jumps out to me. And thank you for bringing up Big Brown as well, because that was a horse that captured our imagination.
We don't even go back 10 years, and I'm looking at the list of the horses that have won. 2015 American Pharaoh. I mean, what the horse of horses, and I hope that NBC replays the documentary they did about American Pharaoh. 2018 Justify, with the combination of no matter what you think of him, that was Bob Baffert and Mike Smith. That's another one of those Brad Cox, Flavian Pratt combinations. I mean, you see those two names, you've got a chance to finish in the money. Authentic back in 2020 with John Velasquez on board. Mandaloon in 2021. Oh, wow. There have been some good ones just in the last 10 years.
Yeah. And, obviously it's funny you brought up American Pharaoh, and I almost went, wait, American Pharaoh? And then I went, duh, he won the Triple Crown. Where does it start? Yeah. But it's so overshadowed, right, by the Preakness and the Belmont run. You kind of forget, oh yeah, he obviously had to win the Derby to get that Triple Crown. But for American Pharaoh, we'll always remember that Belmont and, of course, the Breeders' Run as well. But with that being said, it's time to get to the here and now with the Saturday stage. Obviously, at our 4 grade 1s, 4 grade 2s. Obviously, and one of those is the Kentucky Derby. Raider Jim, I'll give you the honors to get the Saturday rolling.
It's really something. In addition to the $3 million Kentucky Derby, there are going to be another 7 races with combined purse money of $4.5 million. And that starts with the grade 1 race 4. It's the Derby City Distaff. And for anybody that does racing, you understand, if you're new to the game or you can't remember why they call it Distaff, all that's telling you is this is for the ladies. This race is for the ladies. You're not going to see any of the colts or any of that running in this race. This is for females and fillies and mares, 4 years old and up, $750,000, 7 furlongs. This is one of those fast races. And I'm not going to cover the whole field, of course, but your favorite in this one is the 2-horse Goodnight Olive, Chad Brown, Irad Ortiz, already at 4 to 5. So you're going to have to find an exotic, or you're going to have to find that right show ticket if you're going to want to make money on this.
Yeah, the defending filly and mare sprint champ,
Yes.
Goodnight Olive. When you see a morning line of 4 to 5, you have to imagine that's going to go down to 2 or even 1 to 5 when it's all said and done. 7 of 8 in its career, including 7 straight. Looks like 7 in a row. So finished second in its debut and just went, you know what? I don't like this feeling. How about I just get out in front of everyone? But obviously, Wicked Halo is going to be a horse to keep an eye on. Been in the Lenny 11 out of its 12 runs, 7 of them finishing in the winner's circle. However, in the Breeders' Cup filly and mare sprint went, finished 4 lengths off of the pace set by Goodnight Olive. Anything can happen in horse racing, but I think Goodnight Olive here, this is essentially her race to lose.
Absolutely. And then right after that, you're going to go into a grade 2, the Longines Churchill Distaff Mile. This is 1 mile on the turf. Also for fillies and mares, 4 years old and up. Spinderella right now, HG Motion and Tyler Gaffalone riding this one. 7 to 5, that's your early favorite. The horse I like to challenge and that would be on my ticket for this race is going to be the 4-horse Wakanaka out of Ireland, trained by William Mott. Joel Rosario is going to ride this one. Good value at 5 to 1. Don't be left out by not betting that horse from Ireland. This horse is going to run and run very, very well. And then, of course, you're going to have the 2-horse Speak of the Devil from France. This is Chad Brown, Flavian Pratt at 7 to 2. And then I'm going to round out this ticket with, just because this little lady has made me money in the past, number 7, Fluffy Socks. How can you not bet on Fluffy Socks? Number 7 and 9 to 2 right now. Good number on that horse. I don't know that it's going to move much at all, if at all. So you can't go wrong with looking at 9 to 2 underneath on your ticket. Chad Brown, Irad Ortiz. What a field. What a great all-star field.
Yeah, that combination for me with Fluffy Socks of Irad and Chad Brown, that's a pretty safe way to go in that situation. But obviously the favorite is, Spinderella. There we are. Obviously, last time out, look, this is the horse that won the Del Mar Oaks. We want to talk about a layoff. August 22nd, or August 20th. So that's going to be interesting for a 7 to 5 early morning line favorite. How does this horse kind of handle, that layoff? And now all of a sudden you're right into a grade 1. But this is a horse that's been running at grade 1 or grade 2s and 3s pretty much its entire career and done pretty well. But definitely that layoff is something to keep an eye on.
Yes. After that, after the 5th race, there are the 7 races, 500,000, 8 races, 500,000, 9, 500,000. Race 10 is 750. And Brandon, if you want to jump in on any of these, let me know. We can open them up and take a look. Then we get down to the 11 race. That's the $1 million race right there. That's a $1 million race. And this is the Old Forester Bourbon Turf Classic, grade 1. This is going to be a good one too. I need the glasses now because I can't see anymore. This is going to be a good one. And then we see some horses in here that we've seen before. Spooky Channel at 5 to 1 right now. Joel Rosario going to run out of the 9 spot. Bye Bye Melvin 6 to 1. HD Motion is the trainer on that one. Bill D'Amato has 2 horses in this one. Hong Kong Harry out of Ireland. Earl's Rock out of Ireland. And that's Hong Kong Harry is at 7 to 2 right now. Flavian Pratt's going to ride this one. Good horse to watch. Again, you and I now have a big appreciation for these horses that come from across the pond, if you will. And then Earl's Rock should be competitive and at 10 to 1. Not the favorite. The favorite is going to be the 4-horse Up to the Mark. Irad Ortiz and Todd Fletcher teaming up on that ride. Your thoughts on any of these?
I really like Up to the Mark. Just looking at the numbers, obviously last time out, running in the Maker's Mark Mile, it was a grade 1, ran pretty well, didn't get the job done, obviously finished 3rd, Modern Games running in there, Chez Pierre. But the last 2 times out, in optional claiming, so I do have to kind of put that, out there. But it was the first time this horse ran on turf, a 93 and 93, both in those. Now, obviously, like I said, optional claiming, it's not the greatest challenge, at least against the other horses, but running a 93 That doesn't lie. The numbers don't lie in that. That'll play in most fields. Will it play in this one? Unsure, because I look at that 4-horse Steady On at 5-1. Now, at 5-1, you don't really tend to see mid-90s numbers running on the turf last few times out, but a 95 and a 97 is enough to kind of get me sniffing around. This is an interesting race, though, because, we talk about right now Up to the Mark being the favorite at 4-1, or even Hong Kong Harry at 7-2. There could be 3 or 4 horses that finish as the morning line favorite when the bell goes off. So I think there's a lot of movement before the race, let alone when the race goes on. And also a mile and an eighth on that turf course. That's essentially 3 full turns. That's going to be interesting to see how some of these horses kind of deal with that.